Hello everyone. This is going to be a informational about the Capstone Experience MED Capstone Handbook. I want to give you some points about what's in here as its resources and make sure that you know how to navigate it as well. So as you can see, I have it up on the screen taking you to that table of contents. You see the School of Education has its purpose on there as well as the learning outcomes, which are very familiar to what all of our core syllabus have, School of Education program learning outcomes as well. But I'm going to hit to page number 5, so forgive the skipping really quick, and it's going to talk about the research guidelines for students. The paragraph up there that says to produce an action resource project, it's a detailed process that might seem to dominate your life at times, yet at the end of the project, most graduate students at Concordia express a satisfying sense of newly acquired expertise and professional accomplishment. I do have to say it will feel like it's going to overwhelm or take over your life, but I can't stress enough that staying on top of your dates and the guidelines are going to be pretty important here. I have to agree, as I'm your advisor, that I'm eager to work with you to make sure that we're successful. I sign off on your action research project, all the steps of the way, including your initial application, so I want to make sure that we are working together. So the decision you make during your research are a prime indicator of the quality of your thinking. So I can't stress this enough, that you, when thinking about the problem or what you want to investigate, the issue that's out there affecting an educational leader, that you really want to ensure that you're thinking of a quality problem, not just a surface level, easy path, but one that's really going to make you think and develop. I think it'll help you also on the interview side of it once you look into administration as well. So really making sure you take that time to think about it and know that there's literature that you're going to have to do research in that you really want to make sure it's a topic that can be supported as well. So again, we've already talked about the need to make sure that you're following the APA guidelines. Concordia has things listed in here that we'll go over, as well as your APA manual. So your final copy of your action research paper is actually going to be chapters 1 through 3, which are finished in this current class, and then chapter 4 and the intervention is being done for the 605 class. But please know that you will need to complete your IRB application, Internal Review Board. That's the Concordia's board to review the action research. And you want to make sure that you use the future tense when completing it, as it's not been completed yet. And then, again, looking at schedules. So I'm going to continue over this. The next page just talks about the classes themselves. I'm going to skip page 6 and page 7 for that reason, but I just want to go over here. This is more of what to look at when you're looking at the 580 class and 581 class. So again, you're in the stage of initial reflection between weeks 1 through 3. Look at individual research groups and the roles in the research. You know, who's going to be looking at the data, who's going to be looking at what literature says, who's going to be looking at other interventions that support as well. And then 1 through 5 is definitely a lit review as you're going through. Chapter 2, its gauge is about 18 pages. If you split up in your group, knowing that's about, if it's a group of 2, 9 pages per person, group of 3, about 6 pages per person, as well as some planning and working together in your group. So you definitely are going to have to find the group members that you can work with and be accountable to each other, because this is a collaborative project throughout. It'll start with individual assignments, but get to a collaboration component. So please make sure that you're ready for that. So continuing on, you also NHI, I apologize, National Health Institute's Human Subject Training, and that's really how we treat others while doing research. Strong focus is in the medical field, but it does affect how we do research in the educational arena as well. You're in weeks 2 and 4 will be about identifying your partnerships to form a group, articulating your question, and then plan the intervention. And you notice that plan keeps going. Get principal permission if you're going to be surveying anybody at your site. Sometimes that takes just principal approval. Sometimes it does have to go to a district level. So you definitely want to decide early and have that communication with your administrator. and then write that action research proposal, chapters 1 through 3. Big reminder, and I think I'll say it again at the end of this, when you're writing, write in past tense. Even though the IRB is in future tense, all of your writing for the actual research should be in the past tense and be in a third person, like the researcher, not we think, but the researcher. So very clear in that. Past tense, third person. And then you'll see here that we continually have a lot of other aspects of what to lay out. So I'm not going to go through every pieces, but those are the huge things that I want to show you in the week's timeline, but it's clearly laid out here. And then it gets into the 605, which I'm not going to cover at this time. So NIH training, you'll notice the link is right here. Definitely click on that, complete it, because you will be submitting your certificate for proof. Concordia will not accept your IRB proposal for your project without the NIH certificate showing that you've been trained. So very, very important. I'm going to say it's a good hour and a half. If you need to be interrupted anytime, it will save as we go through. And then this conducting and action research, I think these are just great reflection pieces here. This question right here, what problems need to be solved in the teacher education research work situation? Location of resources, where's the literature, connecting with the library, other journals that you might read or somebody else might read, but really trying to find the information and getting to that action plan. So these steps really are clearly laid out here and just following through with them. So another piece of information. And then the proposal, the action research proposal, must be prepared in a style consistent with the required structure of an action research paper. That's on the APA manual. There are, again, the 3 chapters for the proposal, and the 4th chapter is added once we do the research in 605. Rubric, I want to reiterate again, keep basing yourself on what you're writing for each chapter off of the rubric, and that is here. I'm not going to read over each one, but you want to reference how you're writing and are you addressing all these pieces in your writing as well. And it gets specific for chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. The next rubric after this is the 605 rubric for the completed project with chapter 4, and then also the oral presentation that takes place as well. It's in here, but let me be clear, this is not your goal. There is the EDR 603, and that is a 1 unit if you don't get it done within the 16 weeks altogether. That is not our goal. Our goal is to get everything done, what we need to do in this 8 weeks, as well as what we need to do in the final 8 weeks while doing the research and writing our chapter 4. So very, very important that you understand that. This has the what we're looking for, summaries and interpretation. So really ask yourselves these questions as you're writing as a group. So I'm going to continue to pop through these. This talks about the IRB permission. The application is in here as well. This application you'll find on a Word form in the Capstone resources folder on Blackboard, because you actually want to type into the document answering these questions and understanding that. And then here's the structure here of your action research paper, knowing what's expected, what's the title page, all these elements. But let me be clear, there's also a template that's in the resources tab for the Capstone that you'll want to use that template. For the most part, it's set up and ready to type into. I will say it gets hiccupy in the sense that it doesn't adjust properly at times, certain margins on certain pages, so you will have to work with it, but this gives you a basis of what you're looking for. So very important to follow all these pieces, knowing that Concordia has had it clearly laid out what they're expecting of you. Here again is the application. If you're not going to present and record yourselves presenting with me, you have that opportunity to present at Concordia, and that's what this application is here. This is the IRB exempt review application instructions to follow through with, and this is the actual application here. You again are applying for an exempt review, and forgive me, I'm skipping through all these pages, but this is what you'll need. You'll notice that even my signature has to come onto it at times. So it's not just between the two of you and getting it signed. We all have to sign together because I do the final submission to the university. You'll be included in an email form with that, but I'm the one that submits after you've completed these elements and we've looked through and read through it together. And then Here's the template. I'm not going to go through every page of the template, but you'll notice it has your title page and these other elements that come through here. So no, for chapters 1, 2, and 3, you're not expected to have the abstract because you don't have the piece done. The acknowledgments page before doesn't need to be done unless you want to start that process. And then it gets into table of contents. You're not going to have all the page numbers correct yet because it's still a work in progress when you submit chapters 1, 2, and 3. But by the time we're submitting at the end of 605, all these pieces will be here. And then it goes from there. So that's an overview of the Capstone Handbook and how it can be used. It's a great reference for you, really guiding through that process. So I hope that this gives more clarity into why this tool is so key and important for you. Have a great night or great day whenever you watch this.